Well, Dave, first, just you've got Bobby Miller going out there today. Just considering the usage, really, of the bullpen right now, is there a goal in which you want to see him go deep into the game, or how do you have to kind of manage some of the younger guys when, of course, you want some length, but you also see them having to kind of work through and be more efficient on the mound?
Well, I think that we made a move. I don't know if it was announced yet. Brian Hudson, the lefty, is back here. Gavin Stone, we optioned, and that's for coverage for multiple innings. I think that we're in a good spot as far as covering the game regardless. But then you start kind of layering in on leverage and where we're at. So certainly for Bobby to be efficient, get us deeper into a game, what that means can be debated. But it'll certainly be helpful.
Have you had any conversations with Bobby? Because I know in his last outing, and we talked about it briefly, just when he would get kind of hung up on some of those little frustrations that sometimes when the innings could pick up for him. Have you had a conversation with him and kind of letting go of that, or how does that work?
I personally have not. I think Mark Pryor has had some good conversation with him. I think we've talked about it as a staff. I think he knows sort of my thoughts about it. And this is part of the learning process, that there's going to be times in a game where things are unexpected and how you kind of manage your emotions. So I think from the first start to now, I think he's gotten better.
Any issues with Bickford today?
No, Phil's available. Yeah, he'll be fine.
You guys need starting pitching.
There it is. I think starting pitching is always helpful. And are we looking and kicking tires? Absolutely. Talk about where we're at on the depth chart of guys we've kind of gone through, guys that potentially could come back, which is still an unknown. So I think to your question, that's always helpful.
Are you confident you'll get the starting pitching you need to contend?
I do. I am. I think if you look at the track record of our guys, whenever there's been a need to fill a void, a hole, a weakness, whatever it might be, we've done a great job of filling those voids.
Does it feel like there's more holes this year with this year's roster than maybe years past, just considering how many young guys kind of threw out there and something has kind of popped up injury-wise this year?
I think that's a fair question. Every year's different, every roster's different. But if you look at this year, there's some youth, but I still believe getting these guys opportunities to learn and get better is a good thing. You look at some of the injuries we've had. Bill mentioned starting pitching, and so I think that it's hard to kind of dismiss it. I think with the uncertainty of Chris Taylor, where he's at, I think a right-handed bat makes sense. But again, our guys are always trying to look to make our club better.
Given how his year is gone, what level of help can you get from Syndergaard?
I think Noah, he's going to throw here tomorrow, or Saturday. And then he'll go out on assignment, rehab. And then the ball's in his court, to be quite honest, to go out there and perform. And the sample that we've seen up to this point, whether it be related to solely performance, combo of injury, finger, blister, layered on with performance, it hasn't been where we need it to be. So Noah understands that, and so I think for us, it's the challenge to go out there and be the pitcher that we know we can be, and then the conversation should be revisited.
And how much more so than a normal rehab, how important is performance going to be on that?
I think it's not necessarily the results as far as in the minor leagues, that type of results, but I do think that the stuff what hitters are telling him, telling us is important. I think I'm sure the blister part of it is, I think he's 100% healthy. Now he's got to go out there and show that he can, be that dependable major league starter that we expect him to be.
And I think you originally said he was going to throw Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
Well,
and then Clayton is Saturday?
It's Thursday. I'm sorry, it is Thursday.
So it is tomorrow.
So it is tomorrow. So he's going to throw 3 innings and a couple of our guys, and we'll see where we go from there. And I'm not sure if Clayton's going to throw Friday or Saturday.
Dave, with Dustin, when he went down, did you guys expect that he wasn't going to come back? What was sort of the thought process there?
No, we were expecting him to come back. I think if you look at how we went about the PRP, that's a sign that we held out hope, and then obviously it just didn't take. And looking at the hearing from the doctor that surgery was the best option. So, like I said yesterday, I feel for Dustin. It's certainly a big blow, because obviously he's very valued.
What reports have you been getting on Jimmy Nelson during his rehab?
Jimmy Nelson, he's in OKC. I think he threw yesterday. It's been good. He's healthy as far as like consistently being able to take the baseball. I haven't seen any video, so I'll wait to hear back. But I haven't seen.
Hey Dave, knowing that Dustin's not going to come back, how much does that change when you look at the rotation and what you might need to add? Knowing he's not going to be one of these guys that kind of like last year might have been able to come back down the stretch.
I think it changes the calculus. Having a guy like Dustin, who we consider a top-end starter, a guy that can start a playoff game, and so not to be able to not count on that, certainly cuts into the depth.
Is the rotation in as bad a shape as you've been since you've been here?
It depends on what you define as bad. There have been times where we've had to run multiple bullpen games for a couple turns. Our roster allowed for that as far as having length guys. That was pretty bleak. We got through it, but I wouldn't say necessarily bad because even Emmett, his outing last night was pretty forgettable. But I do think that the experience that he's gaining is a good thing. So I don't think it's as bad as certain pictures that are being painted. I really don't, because these games are important and they're getting better. But to say that we're not looking and always trying to get better, that's not the case.
What have you been hearing for reports when it comes to Walker Buehler? I know that he's been posting that he's continuing to progress. He told us the date of September 1st was his goal. What have you been hearing just from him and how he's doing? And is there a realistic feeling that he could be back this year?
I think it's realistic. I haven't. I text with Walker once in a while. I hear good things. We're still holding out hope that he can come back at some point. But if he feels good about September 1, that's a good thing.